So, what do you guys think of this Batman head swap? You think that head looks a little bit better than the original Batman 1000 head? Now, of course, this is the Grim Knight head, but for some reason, I think it just looks really good on this Batman. I think it really like fixes him up where he looks like 100 times better. Now, of course, I got that head because I finally put death metal Batman head on my Grim Knight that I'm going to use for this motorcycle. So I don't know what you guys think how that looks. I think it looks pretty sick. What up? Welcome back to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, we're going to take a look at the next figure I will be adding to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now, this one's kind of a surprise. Yesterday at lunch, I did have time to run into a random Walmart and nothing on the pegs. And this figure was just sitting there. Now, of course, I am talking about the repaint of the Azreal figure, but this time in his suit of sorrows, also sometimes known as the Templar suit. Really surprised to find it there. It was the only McFarlane figure there. So I scooped it up, and now we'll be taking a closer look at it. Now, of course, we did already get this Azreal, but it was a red version from the White Knight series. We'll compare them later on, but this one looks pretty awesome in the package. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. Now, of course, first he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Not really needed, but sometimes useful. He does come with a data file card. Now in this one, they did use, once again, an image of the actual figure. As I always say, I would really prefer some artwork from the comics. That way you can see what the inspiration is for the figure. And then on the back, you do have some information. Now, the original release is different pretty much. So, of course, this one did use art from the comic, from the White Knight series, and there's a little bit of differences on the back. Of course, it's Jean Paul Valet, but this one doesn't have like his height and weight, and then the story's a little bit different. It talks more about the suit of sorrows that he wears. So pretty interesting. So you don't get the exact same card. Add that to the collection. Now he does get a silver sword, as the original was more like a auburn handled blade with like a golden crucifix on it, and this one's a little bit just more bland with the pure silver. I think they should have added a little bit of gold like to the crucifix. I might be doing that, but pretty cool looking sword for what it's worth. And then of course you get the fire effect that came also with the original release. It just slides in there. Really beautiful plastic that they use for this, like a translucent amber color. Awesome little effect. Pretty nice. Pretty sweet sword, and of course that goes with Azreal. Now, as far as repaints go, I pretty much think this is like a really nice one, only because it just gives off a different feel than the red one. This one, I don't know if it's the the painting on the mask, or just the lighter white with the silver. But this one, it looks more prestigious or something like that. So I really like it right off the bat. It looks really nice. You know they're gonna do repaint, so it's nothing new. Now, actually, I have not pre-ordered this one, so it was really cool to find one. That means I'll just need one more to add to my mint inbox collection, and then this one will be for the shelf. But anyways, let's take a look at them. Starting off with the head, really cool. I remember this was the first head that had that like neck joint. It's like a solid piece, and it swivels inside the neck hole. Very reminiscent of the Spawn Kickstarter that we received. How I had that long neck that fit inside like that little porthole. But his head does move around in there. But that way you can move his hood and still articulate his face and everything, just to get it in different positions. So that's pretty awesome. Like I said before, really digging that like red crimson paint app right across his face. It just gives him more of like a menacing look, even though white isn't really a menacing color, but it just gives him a cooler, sleeker look. I really like that. Now, he can still look down and rocks inside the pivot hole, and he still has pretty much tilt articulation. You just can't really make him look up that good. But really nice work there by McFarlane. Now, he has the same armor plating on the shoulders moving down. One part that you could tell they had to really work on was the cross emblem that's painted on his chest had to really be painted on just right, because there's like a cover piece over here and it has to go down and still match up with the abdomen part, and then match down with the lower tunic part, and then all those four pieces have to match up to make it look straight, and did a pretty nice job. Speaking of that, if you look at this figure's articulation, this is the best from McFarlane, because it's really smooth. You get a lot of twist on there, and then you can actually make them bend down, which they've kind of lost that, and then you can actually make them lean like way back. So really cool, smooth articulation. Of course, this one, once you turn them, you break up the paint app of the cross, but really appreciate the mobility that it has in the waist there. Moving down to the top of his tunic, you still have the same little trinkets and crosses and blades from the original release. You have his little tunic there. Let's move down to his thighs. Let's check out his thigh swivel. Surprisingly, he does have pretty good thigh swivel. Pretty awesome. And that makes you able to like cock out his leg and then lift it up, and then give him double jointed knees, and then move down to his feet. He does have up and down. He does have a pretty smooth rocker, and then of course he does have toe articulation. Now, the only things I really didn't like is gonna be in the arm area, and that is because he does have the butterfly shoulder joint, and then he only has single jointed elbows, so you're only gonna get 90 degrees. He does have a bicep swivel though. But you can see that the pin in his arm is white, and really it should be silver. So I'm going to have to repaint those, which is not a big deal. It's going to look really nice once I repaint them. And then moving down from his gauntlet into his hand, the wrist ball for the articulation is also white. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that color, but I'm going to look into it. But I really feel like it should be silver, just to give it a complete, like, nice, smooth flow from silver, 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 all the way into his gloves. And that white part just kind of like breaks it up. But I'll check and see, and maybe I am going to be repainting that ball silver. And then, of course, you do have wrist articulation with that ball joint. Really nice sculpt work. I mean, this For some reason it pops a little bit better here than on the red version, but still a really beautiful figure. Let's take a look at him from the bottom. He has no tread. Moving up the back of his little booties. Nice sculpt work, especially here in the lower part of the back where the tunic is at the top. You still have all that beautiful intricate sculpt work, and then moving up you have the back of that shoulder pad, and then of course these tassels that were like the first time we seen something like this from McFarlane when the red version was released. Really nice weight to it and feel to it, so really cool. Now of course you could go ahead and add a sword as well, and then you could add the effect just to give them a little bit more spice right there. Pretty cool fire on the blade. Let's go ahead and bring in the original release. Now here is the original crimson red version. Looking at them next to each other, like I said, you just get that feel of, even though it's not a completely different figure, like it just feels like it is. Just the paint really makes a big difference. Of course I will be probably adding a lot of little accents of paint to this one, just because of the differences that I like from the original that this one doesn't have. But then this one has things that I'm really liking that the original doesn't have. So pretty cool addition to the collection. Now I also have my custom Azreal that I did, where he has like a assault rifle, machine gun, with a scabbard that I added on the back for his sword, which is like from an image from the comics that I took inspiration from and did that one. I really like that one. And then of course this is the new figure for the collection. Anyways guys, real quick video, because of course we did have this guy already. It's just a repaint, but go ahead and hunt for him out there if you want to add him to your collection. Stay hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.